Hi, Andrew here, and today I want to turn the temperature down a bit. No, not out there where it's like minus 9, and I think that's as warm as it gets here today in this tropical paradise. No, I want to turn the temperature down on the channel just a little bit. I've been heated the last few days because I've been talking about Prime Minister Castro's broken condom and Premier Jellyfish, and talking about those two individuals, it tends to dial my temperature up. Let's not do that today. Let's talk about why it dials my temperature up. And it should be fairly obvious to all concerned. The reason is because of my kids and your kids and the kids all around this formerly great nation of ours. I'm worried about the children. I seriously am. And I keep coming across comments like, well, children are adaptable. Somebody will make a comment, no, we're doing damage to a generation of children. And somebody else will come back with the adaptable thing, and it's just a mask and they'll be fine. Or what damage are we really doing? Well, today, Dan Rather, the disgraced former newsreader who tried to skew the results of an election with an obviously patently fraudulent piece of paper, said something to the effect of, well, I saw some kids and they seemed happy enough. Great, Dan. You saw some kids for 10 seconds. That 10 seconds that you observed them for, that far outweighs the 16 hours a day that their parents have them, and the 8 hours a day that their teachers have them, or the 24 hours a day that their parents have them on the weekends. Yes, your 10 or 15-second interaction, much, much bigger than the people who actually see them all day long. The people who actually care about them, are concerned about them. But let's get specific. The question, what damage are we really doing? Well, let me tell you a story. My youngest is 8. A couple years ago, I met one of his best buds at said best bud's birthday party, 6-year-old birthday party. He had a little bit of RW speech impediment. You know, Robbie would be wobby. The R's became R's. And he was a little hard to understand, but he's 6 years old, and so he was a little delayed in his full speech abilities, but no worries. 3 months later, we stuck a diaper on his mouth, took him away from school, or stuck him in school with with face doilies. Last week, I happened to they were playing, and I was picking my youngest boy up. And his best bud said something to me. And I didn't understand a single word that came out of him. Literally, he said an entire sentence, and I didn't understand a single word. Not only since 6 years old has his speech not developed, it has reverted. Since then, there's been other times I've been with him, and I concentrate hard and I listen, and yes, I'm picking it up. But it's taking an effort on my part to understand him. An 8-year-old boy should not sound like he's 4 or 5. And that is what has happened to him. So further to Dan Rather's stupidity, somebody went back and commented back at him, my child is going through speech therapy. My 6-year-old is going through speech therapy in a mask. It's not working. And the comment stream was absolutely chock full of people whose kids have speech problems and can't get the therapy they need because it's no use. Because a huge chunk of speech therapy is watching the speech therapist's mouth. Can you see my mouth if my hand is my mask? Oh, and can you understand me, or am I muffled? Speech therapy is useless for that. Let's expand beyond. The banditos in the Old West didn't wear masks across their eyes, they wore them across the bottom side of their face. We learn to recognize expressions as much below the nose, maybe more, as above the nose. We're covering that up. Our children are not learning to read facial expressions. How are they supposed to develop? Oh, well, children are adaptable. Well, adaptability of children, I think I'm going to hit that one in greater completitudinousness tomorrow. But let me say this. Children are adaptable to a degree. But I read recently a wonderful book called The Brain That Changes Itself. And it is about neurological damage and your brain rerouting around it, even later in life. But the doctor who wrote it also refers back to developmental stages. And through your life, you have several very, very important developmental stages, neurological brain development stages. We are taking a generation of children, and we'll say from 0 to 17, and we're cutting 2 years out. You know, early onset of puberty, when puberty begins around 12 or 13 or whatever, there's a huge change in your neurology. Anybody who crossed that divide, say my oldest, is doing so with his face covered, giving him a change to the neurological development in that stage. Your speech is developing at 3, 4, 5, 6. Teachers are seeing tremendous difficulties in kindergarten grade 1. You know, the kids who've had their entire early childhood development masked. Will they be able to recover it? Perhaps. Will they be able to recover it fully? Perhaps. But we don't know that they will. And downloading our fears, our problems onto them is a mistake which is going to last for generations. I referred to it when I was talking about economic policy that today goes 4 generations back. It has its roots 4 generations back in the Great Depression. We're doing things to the generation of children today that will be felt long after we're gone. It's going to affect them through their whole lives. And counting on their adaptability, children are adaptable, it's a piss poor idea to make up for our fear.